is that's why I'm a big fan of the yin yang symbol. I truly believe our soul is a yin and yang symbol. That's one side of the yin yang. Okay? That's the yang part. Okay, self preservation. But then you have the other side, which is the adventure, the push yourself, the you dude, you have to get up because you're about to be eaten, right?
Right.
So you got those two and they're battling each other. Friend, whatever it may be, the yin side immediately goes self-preservation, stay away from it. Let's not think about it. Let's just go into our little hole and we're going to be okay. And then we got the yang side's like, fuck that. Someone's about to get their ass whooped. All right. I'll kick it off real quick.
Okay.
Welcome, my brothers and sisters, to 2 Goats. I don't know. Do you want to get a little uncomfortable today?
Absolutely.
Be careful what you pray for.
Right. Exactly. Now I had a little time to meditate in my extended drive home with all my friends there on 1960 in the Champions area.
Yeah.
And we had a couple good conversations today, and I was kind of, that's kind of what I was meditating on.
Okay.
And it turns out page 55, it's big book, is my new favorite page today.
Page 55.
Yeah, 55. I mean, that's the one we always go to for, where God is deep down in every man, woman, and child.
Yeah.
But the part that we it's kind of been a mystery to me in my mind, sort of. I never solved it. Not that I put a lot of energy into it. But as you go along in this thing, our character defects that we, give to God and stuff like that, we're not paying as much attention to, and we're supposed to be getting better and better. And so it's kind of like the mentality is, well, I can get away with less and less.
Okay.
And like we've been reading with Jocko in our meditation and stuff, and kind of was coming together in my head, but I always looked at that as it gets worse. But our book says at the bottom on page 55, it says, if you wish, you can join us on the broad highway. It doesn't say anything about a narrow road. It says a broad highway. And so I've always thought, yeah, but if you want to get on that broad highway, you got to quit your sins and do all this other, you just got to get better. So you have to limit yourself.
Okay.
So anyway, I had time to flip and flop that and play with that in my mind because I was thinking about Jocko's meditation today.
Okay. We might want to let us know a little bit about that meditation so we can put one and one together.
Well, the part that hit me that he was talking about was you have to use emotion and your mentality, logic, emotion and logic. And this is bringing out the, what do you call it? The beast mode or the
Berserker.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, you have to use both. But right before that, it said you have to dig deeper and push harder. This is the part I remember. It was a lot more than that. So you can't quit. Don't quit. And even one of Andy Andrews' principles is you don't quit no matter what. You don't give up. You try something else. And he's saying dig deeper, push harder, whatever. So then I started thinking, okay, well, this emotion logic thing I have going here, this is the emotion to me is I'm doing less and less, or I'm able to technically get away with less and less. You know what I mean? But the logic of it is as you do that, you streamline, you get better at what you're doing, you get more focused, it opens new things. Like Jocko says, discipline equals freedom.
Right.
Well, by focusing on that and narrowing yourself a little bit, you get on the broad highway, and the broad highway is your freedom opens up. So anyway, that was kind of what I was flipping around as we were talking, because I never really, I knew that was there, but I never really focused on it. And so like I said, I had time to focus today.
Okay.
while I was driving. So I don't
Well,
know if you can get anything out of that, or else if you got something else.
no, that's good. I think doing what doing what Jocko was talking about in today's meditation, where you exhaust your emotion and you exhaust your logic to give you the moment though to where you can rise above logic, you can rise above emotion. It's the constant to push yourself beyond the limitations that you set. And so with that coinciding with what you're talking about, the broad highway, it's asking you to join them on the broad highway of no more personal limitations. Because if you read the few sentences before and the few sentences after that, they're talking about a mentality,
Right. An
right?
attitude, a
It's not
mentality.
that, oh, now that I'm on the broad highway, I'm more free physically, or I'm not going to get as much trouble. It's you have a more open mind. You're willing to see things a little bit differently, because it says we can only clear the ground a bit if your testimony helps sweep prejudice. So they're talking about clearing out your shit, your fourth
Right.
and fifth step, right?
Right.
That enables you to think honestly, encourages you to search diligently within yourself. Then, if you wish, you can join us on the broad highway. With this attitude, you cannot fail. The consciousness of your belief is sure to come to you. So it's just talking about you've been limiting yourself in life for so long
Right.
that maybe you'll give yourself a big enough ass whooping that
Right.
you can open your mind that there might be some possibilities out there that you've closed yourself off to your entire life.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
So,
Or that we forgot, or we tried for a while and didn't do it consistently over a long period, but did it long enough to figure out, hey, this works.
right.
Feels good, Feels good. I'm stronger, faster. I really like it better. I feel better. What does our book say? We smile at such a Sally.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
we'd give
essentially
we know he'd give everything just for one cookie.
just one more cookie.
That's
Oh,
right.
it's well, there with what Jocko's trying to share to us, and David Goggins does a wonderful job about it too. It's truly getting rid of the things that are trying to kill us every day.
Right.
Those mindsets, those addictions to the sugars, to the unhealthy processed foods, or whatever it may be, your addiction to porn or your addiction to work, or whatever it may be. The truth is all of it's killing you, you know, and again, the word discipline constantly keeps in mind. That's really the only thing that's going to set you truly free. And discipline, if you think about it, right? Go back to the Hebrew days, it's to follow. The disciples, it's to follow something diligently with all of your being is to be a true disciple, to be truly disciplined. Um, it also goes in realm of the uh, what is it, the eye of the needle. You know, you
Yep.
can't bring all your old baggage with.
Right.
That's part of discipline too.
You got to unload it,
You got to just let it all go,
unload the camel.
and all of it boils down to the psychic change. Sometimes you're going to have to do some shit that you don't really want to do, but it's what you need to be doing.
Right. Right. I was shared the meditation with somebody else today, and they said, "Well, it seems like it's hard to know when to use which one. How do
Okay.
I know to do that?" And I said, "It told you right there in the second sentence. This is going to take practice." Or doesn't it say something like
Yeah.
that? It's going to take practice or
What
something.
on
I said,
the broad highway?
in the meditate, no, in the Jocko meditation.
Well, in almost every book we've ever read, it's not an overnight matter.
Right, right,
You're gonna have to keep pushing yourself and pushing yourself.
right. Well, that's
Don't
what it
ever
said.
give up.
Exactly. And that's was my point was you need, it's going to take time. You're going to have to earn it, learn it.
Yeah,
That's what he just told us. So, but that's the part that struck me was when he talked about your emotions and your logic playing them against or off of each other. When you run out of ideas and now I'm stuck or whatever, well, use your emotion, whether it's anger, fear, whatever it is, use that emotion to push you, keep you going long enough for some logic to maybe kick in or catch up, or maybe you see it in a different way just because you let go of that part and you're just being emotional about it. And then when the
yeah,
emotion's tired, we'll think about the logical part to get you through. And this really can be done by if we do the work.
right. Well, it would almost make sense. I mean, to me, it's like you have an alter ego within you. You know, that's where that berserker mind comes in because I don't know if you know much about the history of berserkers,
We've
but
talked about it before. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know we've talked about it. Wasn't it a group of guys that it was it the British or something that hired
no,
them? And the
it was the Vikings.
oh, okay,
The
the
Vikings
British
would,
copied it later on.
I don't know if they
But
did or
go
not.
ahead.
The berserkers in the Viking era, what they would do is before war, before they had to go battle, there would be a group of them that would take mushrooms, psychedelics,
Oh, okay.
and in their mind they would transform and they'd wear animal skins, so they'd be like a wolf or a bear, you know, or a deer, you know, these wild beasts, these strong beasts that rise above, that go into battle as that. And you know, they were shot with arrows or stabbed with spears or cut with knives and axes and stuff. And they were so overwhelmed into this alter ego of the berserker, it was very difficult to kill them,
Mm,
because they didn't fight like everybody else. You know,
right.
it was all over the place. It was like as if their life truly depended on it. They're willing to do whatever it takes to win this battle. So if you have that mindset and you put it towards what Jocko's talking about with your discipline, you know, when you're about to wake up in the morning, you know you need to wake up before 5 a.m. in order to get your meditation in order to get your workout in, to get your you know, your cold shower and whatever you're doing, right? If that's what you have to do, then you have to have a berserker mindset, because logically it makes sense because it's healthy for you, right? Emotionally, I'm a baby and I don't want to do it. It's not fair. Why doesn't everybody else have to wake up? You know, why am I the only one waking up at 4:45 every morning? You know, I have to squash that. I have to smash that. I have to become the berserker. So,
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
are
Well,
you a
that's the
berserker, Barry?
heck yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you think
working on
so?
it day by day, day by day. My thinking lately from what we've been talking about is kind of the thought is, I'd rather burn out than fade out.
Okay.
That's come up a couple times when we were talking. So anyway, I'm working on stuff. I'm getting into this new meditation. I needed something new. That's good. That's helping a lot. It's giving me something to focus on and think about during the day and stuff like that. I got a couple goals I'm working on. Matter of fact, one of them happens today or tomorrow. So I got to get my elk tag draw in.
Okay.
So anyway, if there's any way I'm going to be able to do that in September, there's some work to be done.
Okay.
So that's the deal. I remember talking to my sister about we had done some kind of cool stuff, and we did the bike rides and then the real long bike rides and the stuff like that. And I was talking to my sister about stuff, and and then it was the elk hunting, and I told her, I just feel like I need to always have something big to plan for, something big in the future to plan for, to
Yeah.
kind of keep me going and keep me interested. And so anyway, I'm back on that track right now. But I just got off of that track. I went through some stuff as my excuse. It's like I didn't take it to a different level like we just talked about. I just accepted it, and that was hard. So there was some, what does the book say? 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-pity.
Right.
There's probably some of those forms in there. A little combination. I like to mix it up.
Well, yeah. Well, see, and that's the thing is that's why I'm a big fan of the yin yang symbol, the dark and the light and the good, the evil, I truly believe our soul is a yin and yang symbol. And the reason why I say that is innately our body, right, is designed for self-preservation. Okay? So if it doesn't have to move, if it doesn't have to do something, it will try to convince itself, let's save our energy. Okay? You have that side. That's one side of the yin yang. Okay? That's the yang part. Okay? Self-preservation. But then you have the other side, which is the adventure, the push yourself, you have to get up because you're about to be eaten. Right? So you got those two and they're battling each other. And I think, and this is just my opinion, when circumstances happen, i.e. like your health scare, right? Or surgeries or losses of jobs. I mean, something, it could be something super simple. It could be just an argument you had with a spouse or with a family member or disagreement you had with a good friend, whatever it may be. The yin side immediately goes self-preservation, stay away from it. Let's not think about it. Let's just go into our little hole and we're going to be okay. And then we got the yang side's like, fuck that. Someone's about to get their ass whooped, right? Now, whichever one you've been practicing more, okay, the self-preservation side, if you've been practicing that more with, I'm just going to do some research about doing this, or I'm just going to meditate on it. And I'm just going to maybe, I'll sleep on it, right? Maybe I'll just go and just think about it for a while. Okay. The body's used to that. The ying's going to be more powerful, right? Now, if you've altered that, because I know for a fact, Barry, there were times when you couldn't stay out of the gym. You hit that gym every single day. You were eating right. You were doing boom, 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 boom. And I'm talking for a long period of time. I remember you flapping your belt at me saying, hey, Tommy, look at this. Look at how much weight I've lost. Right. I remember those times. You were in the yang. Yeah. You were all about it. You were like no nonstop. There was self-preservation. This is my self-preservation. You see what I'm saying? And then something clicked, went to the other side, and now it's difficult to get back to the other side.
Yeah.
So that's why Jocko's talking about discipline. You're going to have to rise above it. You're going to have to emotionally exhaust yourself, logically exhaust yourself, and get into the berserker mode where it's going to push you to become limitless, which therefore will open you up on the broad highway of this life.
There you go. I like that. Vision came to mind as you were just talking about that.
Yeah.
The freaking Johnny Miller.
Yeah.
Over at Bel Air, and his thing is, or that one time where he really got my attention was, I think he had 27 years, and he said, what the most dangerous thing about having 27 years is, you got 27 years.
Yeah.
To break that down, and him saying you're content, you think you're secure, you feel like you have this, you feel, just that whole mentality of, our book even says, I have arrived. In Bill's story, it talks about that. So, we can't arrive. We can't arrive.
Well, Jocko says it. David Goggins says it. They all say it. You just can never be finished.
Right.
You can just never be finished. You're going to have to, what you're doing, right, has to stay consistent. Now, why you're doing it, that can be changed. You can change it whatever it is, but it's got to have depth and weight.
Depth and weight,
It's got to
and
have depth and weight, or it ain't gonna mean shit.
no contentment.
No contentment.
You can't get lost in that one. But Tom, I want to be happy.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, dude.
Right?
I mean,
There's no such thing as happy. You just got to learn to be happy without it.
I've heard you say that over the years, and I understand why you say it. I believe that there is a sense of, and you can call it whatever you want, joy, peace, happy, whatever it is, but it's all a mindset. You know, what I think makes me peaceful or me happy or me joyful would scare the shit out of other people.
Roger
You know?
that.
So it's all a perspective, right? It is what you think it is. You know, I think being naked in the wilderness,
Right.
you know, that is a peaceful place. That is a happy place for me. You know, until
Right,
you got a
right.
skeeter on your Peter, then there's some other things, right?
Let me see what minute we're at, because I have a picture for that one.
Oh, I bet you do. I bet you know what they say about when you got a skeeter on your Peter, right?
Yeah, what's that?
They say it's
Don't
the
swat
one
it.
and only time you realize that violence isn't always the answer.
Right. Good one. Good one. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's when you realize that, when you got a skeeter on your Peter.
Good call. Good call.
Which I don't mind. I mean, it is what it is. I'm here to be of service. I'm a giver.
Right. Right.
I'm a giver.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
To be of service.
Yeah. So I think those are just our struggles, you know. And here's the truth, Barry. This is the capital T truth. Okay. You can have 99 circumstances, 99 problems. Okay. But the moment your health goes to shit, you only got one.
That's it.
You have one problem. You have one circumstance.
Yeah.
So if you know that, let that be your depth and weight. Yeah. I need to eat this way. I need to live this way. I need to do this way. Not for me.
Right.
It's for a greater purpose. I've been put on this earth to experience an adventure, this amazing world, and when at all possible, be of service as often as possible.
Right. Share the message.
Well, if I can't get in a boat because I'm too fat, you know, if I can't run into a building when people need my help because my knees are all jacked up and I'm not exercising to get in there and I'm not strong enough because my arms are all jacked up and I'm not doing my exercises, what kind of service am I, man?
Yeah. You had to go full Jesus mode and just walk on the water.
Yeah. That's called peyote.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was Jesus mode or beast. We were talking about beast modes.
Beast mode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, but I think I'm doing this world an injustice. I have this body that is designed to do so well without me. It doesn't need me to tell it to beat my heart.
Right.
It doesn't tell me to open my lungs. It doesn't tell me to heal the scratch on my leg. It does it while I'm sleeping. In fact, it's been my experience. It does way better if I get out of the way.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, the feats that I've seen, what humans are capable of doing, blows my mind. The ability to run for days, you know, the ability to climb, the ability to lift, the ability to do. It's just, it's baffling. And it's all because those people have entered the broad highway. They had the discipline to remove as many limitations as possible.
I agree. It's interesting because I was listening to one of the other pods I've been listening to lately is the telepathy tapes. And this one mother's describing her and her son communicate. They don't talk. Well, he's not a verbal, so they've learned they can communicate telepathically. And so they had to practice, and it took time, but they're really good at it right now. And even now, it's a lot of times he has to tell her in her mind. She says he has to tell me, you have to slow down your mind, and you have to get some of this clutter out of the way. I can't see what you're saying or what you're focusing to me.
Yeah.
It's a big scramble because you got so much going on in your mind. And just think, if we walk around, that's how we walk around a lot. If we're in, you know, if we're involved in a lot of stuff or whatever, or if we're not really focused on our real point is to be a service.
All right.
So is this what's in front of me? Is this my opportunity to do this? So that's the kind of thing I think that was interesting anyway. But how he told her, several times, you gotta do something with that mind of yours.
Sense,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
especially, like they talk about how we can't hear people because the amount of shit coming out of their mouth is so
Yeah.
overwhelming. I can't hear what they're actually saying.
Right.
My wife and I, we're pretty good at telepathy, or at least she is.
Right. Okay.
Like when Ultra comes out with their new Olympus shoes,
Okay.
and they're gonna help me run faster, which will then
Right.
help my knees, will help me lose weight. And so I come to her and I'm like, this is it. This is the shoe. She doesn't have to say a word. She gives me this look.
Right.
And I can hear it in my head. She's saying, you're full of shit.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't understand it.
Yeah. Or that kind of leads into another thing I was thinking about this week.
What's that?
She was thinking, you're lying to yourself again. That came up quite a bit this week for some reason. Us lying to ourselves.
Constantly.
Right. It's crazy.
I lied more to myself in the moment at 4:45 and 5 a.m. in the 15 minutes. I will lie to myself more in those 15 minutes than the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And those are the most pinnacle moments. Those are the moments where I can set forth a limitless day to do the things and align myself up with my higher power. Do the things I need to do to remove limitations and enter that broad highway. I will lie to myself 100 times in those 15 minutes.
Right.
Create every excuse under the book, all what's fair, what's not. I mean, just bullshit. It's all bullshit. I mean, I think about all that stuff. Oh, Tommy, you've been doing so good. You need to give your legs a rest. Oh, Tommy, you're doing so good. Don't push your arms like that. You need to take your time.
Right.
Like, what are you?
Right.
And I believe it. I buy it every time. I'm like, you're right.
Here's the thing we forget, or here's the opportunity. I want to see the opportunity. That's the part I want to look at. Everything you just talked about, and everything we just talked about is freaking step one. Honesty.
Yeah.
And it's the way the old timers and the way Bill Wilson and the guys who wrote the book and his group of people, the way they said it was honesty about myself to myself. And that's it. We're struggling with step one. Or I am. I struggle with it every day. Several times a day, I guess. Apparently, it's news to me for me to get on that page 55 stuff. Now it's kind of leaning towards not my favorite page today, but now that we talk about it.
Well, let's change a word in that first step. Let's change a word. Let's change it. I am powerless against my lies, and my life becomes unmanageable. Right? If I believe in my lies, my life becomes unmanageable. I become limited, is basically what it's saying. If I buy my bullshit, I'm going to live a life of bullshit. That's basically what it's stating.
Right. Oh, yeah. And then going on from there, we can repeat the insanity, or we're going to have to do something different.
Right. Well, and see, that's the thing. I think that's this. I mean, we're talking about discipline. We're talking about removing our limitations. But ultimately, Barry, what we need to be discussing is our insanity. Because
Right.
how the hell do we know? We know for sure this is the answer. We know for sure deep down inside of us. We know.
Mm-hmm.
And we still come up with bullshit.
That's right. And we know whenever we bite on that bullshit, we know exactly where it's going to go.
Yeah.
There's no mystery. I'm not going to
No.
get away with it. I know that. I know that on the first cookie. I know it. So that's the insane part. That's the insanity. It's not like I think, oh, I'll try a different kind of cookie. I'll try these low carb keto cookies. No,
Yeah.
no, that's a lie. That's a lie.
I hear you.
I can't do it. I'll
I hear
try
you.
these coconut cookie, but no, that's a lie. Anyway, that's if to me to be honest with myself about myself, those are lies.
But now what do you do about that? What
That's
do you do
right.
about the fucking insanity, Barry?
I guess we got to step 2 and then 3 and then
Okay.
start on the work.
So I need to
Start
have
on the work.
hope
Need
that,
to have a
that it
little
works for
hope.
somebody if I turn my will and my life the way I do and the way I think to a power greater than myself. That means get it out of my hands because clearly I shouldn't be dealing with it.
Right on.
As Earl says, it's probably a little too early in the game to pass me the ball.
Yeah, it'll be knocking the ball back on my side of the court for sure.
Right?
Absolutely. Right on. That's it. And keep on going because it's apparently I don't have the power to do this. I've proven that over and over. So me thinking I'm going to do the job this time is back to the insanity. So I have to turn it over to a power greater than myself.
Yeah.
My
And I
will
believe
my will in my life, which is what my thoughts and my actions, and that's where this meditation is helping a lot with focusing those thoughts and essentially the actions through that. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
I'm so undisciplined. I'm so full of shit. That's it. It's just, that's it. I'm so undisciplined and I'm so full of shit. That's where I am right now.
Yeah, 100%. I hear you.
And, you know, we were talking earlier of being the example. There was an opportunity for people like you and I to do something different. And that something different saved our lives.
Right.
Okay. And now we're sitting here not doing what we're supposed to be doing to give back to the entity that gave us the opportunity to do something different and save our lives.
Exactly.
And I think that's, just to be completely candid, transparent, right?
Right.
I have a disconnect with my higher power at 4:45 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in it. I don't hear it. I don't think about it. At 4:45 in the morning, it's me and the bullshit salesperson. At no point in time did I ever invite my higher power into that conversation. Which, if I'm following the steps, came to believe in a power greater than myself that would return me to, you know, return my sanity, right?
Return you to sanity, right?
Okay. I'm missing that part. I'll never get to step 3 if I can't do step 2.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm just stuck in step 1, continuing to lie myself and never invite my higher power into the equation, I'm doomed. I'm doomed for failure. It's just how it's going to be.
Well, I think one misconception a lot of people have about step 2 and the principles, you know, the hope principle is that it's a wish. It's not a wish. We're hoping that it's possible. Now I have to take the actions to start making it possible. to help,
Right.
to allow God to help me. I have to get me out of the way, which is essentially what the steps are. It's a get Richard out of the way program.
Right.
That's the whole thing. And the sooner I can get to that and get that done, the better off. So if I have hope in that instead of in the insanity that I was doing, now I'm
Right.
ready for step 3. Okay, what's the higher power?
Right.
Rock
Exactly.
on.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The misconception of hope. I get really irritated when I hear that, like from my salespeople. Oh, I hope I can close this deal.
Yep. Do the
Hope
work.
ain't going to close anything.
No.
Hope
Yeah.
is not going to close anything. Hope can give you a feeling of, hey, this is possible, like what you were just saying, that there's something possible here,
Right.
but that's not the end. You're going to have to do something, right? So if you're
Right.
hoping to get this sale done, rise up, look at what else you could be doing,
Right.
right? If you utilize the 12 step program, you're about to turn the way you think and the way you do things over power grid and stuff. It could be a mentor. It could be a sales book. It could be a YouTube video. It could be call somebody.
Right. Right.
Turn it over to somebody else and get some advice. You don't have to do this life on your own. We're not meant to be doing this on our own. Or talk to your higher power.
Yeah.
The answers are all written in there. You
That's
just
right.
you talk so damn loud you can't hear the shit.
Can't hear. Well, I'll share this one with you. And actually, I learned this from my dad, and I got to utilize it a lot with a couple of different businesses we owned. But it was when you call on people, whether it's a sales call or you're just calling on another shop or some other whatever help or contact, never show up empty handed. Always bring a box of donuts or whatever. And that was a real good lesson that got me a lot of business, and it got me a lot of friends and stuff because people didn't expect that. Nobody else was doing it at the time. My dad taught me, and I watched him do it, and people respond to that. So I think a lot of times on the hope part, you can't just hope for it. You can't show up empty handed. You
Right.
know what I mean? You got to
Yeah.
bring a shovel.
Yeah. You gotta do something.
Yeah. Or depending on how hard of your defenses are built, maybe a hammer and a chisel. You gotta have some work to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I do know. I do
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did do some practicing on that with some myself and some other sales rep. Because we would bring donuts and kolaches and or cookies, or some little trinket, and then I said instead for this 1 week, we're not going to bring any trinkets and toys and gifts. What we're going to do is we're going to bring solutions,
There you go.
right? So
Yeah.
you better do your research, okay? Because you could walk into a business, and if you do your research, you can find out, hey, I know your industry, you're about to go into your busy season come here April, right? So I know you're going to be looking for some, spiral widget makers,
Right.
Well, I happen to have spiral widget makers, and I got some resumes right here. It's no fancy gadgets or anything,
Right.
It's going back to I don't know if you ever heard of Zig Ziglar.
Oh yeah.
So Zig Ziglar had this deal. It's called the puppy dog sale.
Right.
If you truly believe in your product, if you put your product in their hand, they're more apt to buy it because now, for some reason, the human mind, they have this thing in their hand. Now this is mine,
Right.
right? Especially if it's something that they could use. Like you don't go try to sell a car to somebody that has no interest in buying a car. You
Right.
got to find out, do your research, see what they're wanting, and then make sure that's your product. It's just qualifying your targets.
Right.
See what they need. Is that what you sell? Then go find those people.
Right. And that's exactly along the lines of what we're talking about. You just evolve it. You evolve it. What else can I bring to the table? What else can I help with?
Absolutely.
How can I be of service ahead of time?
That's
You
right.
know, utilize that. I mean, that's huge, huge
Absolutely.
stuff. Yeah, we do. Well, starting to do a lot more of that in real estate. We
Okay.
cleaned some houses and power washed, and we just did a bunch of that work. Usually, that our clients were just in a spot where they couldn't afford it to get it done, so we went
Yeah.
over and did it. It was a good exercise and a good experience.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I
That is
loved it when
good.
it was over. So there was parts of it I don't like. So I don't like. I don't know. Anyway, all good.
Well, let's talk about some experiences. What are you doing specifically in your life? Talk to me about some adventures or some experiences that you have had here recently, or that you're about to go do here pretty soon to share with the world. Because I think at the end of the day, if people see and hear of adventures and experiences, they're a little bit more attracted to hearing what you have to say.
Right. My main thought right now, already shared with you, is tune up for elk season, which is September. So that's kind
Okay.
of a long term. Not even that long, really. It's what, 6 months away?
It's less than it's. I thought it was in September.
September, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
So
see,
6
April, May,
months.
June, July, August, September. So yeah, about 5, 6 months.
All right. So anyway, that's the main focus. My outdoor stuff was, I did some hunting and things like that this year, and camping, and camped out quite a bit. Spent a lot of time
Yeah.
outside.
Okay.
Uh, Even the family was involved. We woke up at 28 degrees in the tent a couple times and stuff like that. So
It's awesome.
that's the kind of stuff I like to do to keep us going. But my main focus, or one of my other focuses, is guys I'm working with. So I've had a couple new guys that I'm working with, and I got one or two that are really starting to, they're interested. And it's fun to work with people whenever they could see what we're talking, see what we're studying about, read it, talk about it, and then they go home and call me up and go, "Guess what? I'm doing it, and it works."
Right.
You know, that,
Works.
I'm getting a lot of mileage out of that right now.
That's good.
Learning a lot of, I'm stretching my technical boundaries on computer work and videos and editing, and to get better at that, and being an example. It's kind of, I mean, I'm not very good at it, but I can put some stuff up there sometimes in a way to challenge little Chrissy about some of his BS and go, no, this
Yeah.
is real. This is what we're talking about. But he's working hard on it. I think he's got to find his way. I don't know anything about it. I'm just having fun doing it and learning little things every now and then.
Right.
So it's cool.
Well,
But
I think you should remove that out of your vocabulary. I'm not really good at it.
yeah,
I think you need to remove that. I think you're setting yourself up for failure, putting negative connotation to where you're at. The truth
right,
is you're just practicing, you're learning.
right. Well, you're exactly right. I'm what I should say is I'm getting my 10,000 hours in.
There you go. Because I
Yeah.
guarantee you, Barry, you put me up against you on our technology as far as these video editing and thing like that.
Mhm.
Dude, you're miles away.
Well, I've had a year.
See, you're a mile away, dude. I can't
Right.
keep up right now.
Yeah. Well, you could if you had the time, of course. But anyway, that's been my brain stretcher, and my, plus, I mean, candidly, at work, a lot of our rules and regulations have changed recently, and forms have changed, and I got a deal to going out in Liberty County, which is a different county. Got to go out there and traipse around on the land with a up and coming game warden. So
Okay.
yeah, and we saw some cool stuff. It's, we're both looking at deer scrapes, and hey, did you see those tracks over there? Did you see those
Yeah.
droppings over there? And that scrapes, that was from last season or whatever stuff. Then we turn the corner and there's a deer stand. What do you know?
Oh yeah.
Its work's been stretching a little bit too, which this is all, I'm trying to embrace it, or I am
Okay.
embracing it.
All right.
And that's where I
You want
am
me
right.
to? Can I make you a little uncomfortable?
Yeah, go for it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember the first time you came back elk hunting,
Right.
you shared with me some information. Somebody came to you. I can't remember the name of the person, but they were part of your hunting party. And he said, in order for you to be a successful in elk hunting, you need to be able to do this one thing. Do you remember what he said?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
I couldn't remember. What did he say?
Some nonsense about 10K.
A 10K. He said you should be very comfortable running a 10K.
Oh yeah, I remember that. When you hear stupid remarks, you remember them.
Oh, is that what that was?
I'd have to get after it. That's training's got to start tomorrow. But
Training
that'd
needs
be
to
nice.
start.
That's a good goal. That's honestly, I mean, to be honest about myself, with myself, that's the goal. That should be the goal.
That should be the goal. I know you and I were
Oh,
doing it a couple years ago. We started doing
right,
some hills, started getting some mileage on us, and then circumstances happened.
right,
Bullshit started happening, right?
right.
We
Well, I
started
got, go ahead.
just started in the Ying, self-preservation, right?
Yeah. Well, I need to do it with a pack, and I've got my pack that I used to train with before that I just add
Yeah.
sandbags to it. So I can go from, 20 pounds to 60 pounds pretty quick.
All right.
But, that's where I got to start back though.
All
So
right.
I got to do some miles and okay. Hey, here you got me planning stuff and everything. Gee.
Well, I think if you put that as your goal, those there's the three things ultimately that you need to be doing every day, if not at least weekly. One is moving your ass, preparing for those 10Ks where it ain't no big thing to do a 10K. And I do believe he said, what did he say? Under a 10-minute mile.
No, he said you should be able to do a 10K in, 10-minute miles. So
10
what
minute
would that be?
miles.
60 an
So it'd be
hour?
about an hour to do a 10K.
Yeah, he said you should be able to do a 10K. I think he said an hour and a half or an hour. I
I
don't
would
think
shoot
he
for
might
an
have
hour
said
and a
that.
half because 10-minute miles, dude, that's the average of what people do in marathons is
Right.
10-minute miles.
I don't have a 10-minute mile in me today.
No, no.
I'd have
I
I'd
think
have to dig deep to find it.
if you can do a 13 to 15-minute mile, which is pretty reasonable,
If I could get
you
it
know,
under 15, I'd be real happy.
I think that should be your goal then. I think
Yeah.
you should first be able to do a 10K. Doesn't care about how long it takes you. You should be able to at least do a 10K
We
and then
did
start
one.
working
Didn't
on
we
getting
do
that
one a year
time.
or two ago? Didn't we do one a
Huh?
year or two? We did one a year or two ago, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Well, that was four or 5 years ago.
Oh, it wasn't.
Nathan was with us.
That counts, right?
Yeah, you did it 4 or 5 years ago.
Is that yesterday's hot dog?
That was that hot dog's way gone, bro.
That one's way gone.
Yeah.
I got you.
So the 10K, practicing that. You have 6 months, and you're going to start tomorrow. The next one is shooting your bow. You
Yep.
should be out there weekly. Now, here's the thing that I would
And
think about.
I need to shoot it every day.
There's a trail out there that you could walk up and down to get your 10K in and then go shoot.
Right. You're talking about over in Bridgeland?
No. The bow place where you go shoot your bow and arrow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's,
You can walk up and down the road. You can go in the woods there and get some. I
yeah.
wouldn't walk too far in the woods, but
Right.
uh,
Good point.
so the 10K, shooting the bow, getting out in the wilderness, right? And then
Right.
the third one is hills,
Yeah.
practicing hills.
Yeah. Downhill.
Yep,
I'm a
but you got to
downhill.
go back up.
I'm a downhill specialist.
I hear you. So those are those
Alright.
three things, man. I think if you can, get yourself out of the insanity and turn your will and your life over to a power greater than yourself, you could accomplish those things. and you could do something that you love instead of limiting yourself.
Right. I agree.
That's
Broad
right.
highway.
That's right.
Yeah. You care to join?
What was that? I'm
Care
sorry. I
to
think
join?
we're cutting out.
It says you can join us if you wish.
Oh, I thought you were asking me to join you.
I said, do you care to join if you wish? Do you wish?
No, you're talking about your higher power. Is that you care to join your higher power? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might read it again. Start at the beginning.
Hell yeah, brother.
All
It'll get me
right.
outside of myself.
Let's
I
do
need
it.
something. I need something to get me out of here because I'll be honest, man, I feel alone at times. And when I'm alone, I do stupid shit, man.
No.
I do stupid shit.
Well, you got hills,
I got
stuff like
lots of
that.
hills. I
Just
got lots of hills.
put on little whiskey rivers in your headphones and
Heck yeah.
get to it. You know.
Well, I found that trail over there, the Purgatory Creek. That's where the wife and I took the dogs this weekend.
Right.
And we only did like 2 or 3 miles.
Right.
But I saw you got guys out there with their gear on and they're running those trails.
Wow. Yeah. That'd be nice.
And they have 12 miles of trails out there.
Right. Wow. That's
So
more than a 10K.
that's 2 10Ks.
20K.
Yeah.
Up in the game. Okay. Great.
Well, I'm not saying I was going to do the 12.
I thought we were like playing poker here.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I'd be willing to do that.
All right. Let's
I'd be
do
willing
it.
to do that. I don't have my bow. It's back in Houston.
Right.
But I can guarantee you that I can work on 10Ks or normal and working on the hills.
All right. Good
Getting
deal.
out in the wilderness. I can commit to you on that, man.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I need it.
if I get a tag, how about elk hunting in September?
Who, me? Go with
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Shit.
Bring your bow. You can get you a bear tag.
I don't know if my bow would kill an elk. I think I'm only at 45 pounds.
That's all you need.
I don't
You
know.
just get within 20, 25 yards.
Yeah.
Drill it.
I have to wear my socks so I can sneak up on them.
That's right. That's right. That's how you catch a unique rabbit.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's how you catch a rare rabbit.
A
You
rare
sneak up on
rabbit.
it.
Unique up on it.
That's right.
That's right. Your way's better.
I did that. It was in Puerto Rico. This young girl and her mom were in the hot tub, and they were talking how she missed her husband, the daughter missed her father because he was back in the States, and they're up in Minnesota or Wisconsin. They're up in north, and they're like, yeah, we really miss him. He has just the best dad jokes. And so Amy goes, hey, my husband knows some really, really good dad jokes, and that's the one that I talked about.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
they're like, yeah, we've heard that one.
Right. Well, there you go.
I don't know what to tell you.
Serve them up. Serve them up.
Yeah. So, all right, well, let's do that, man. Let's commit. Let's get in elk hunting shape.
There you go. All right.
Gives me something to look forward to. Gives me some goals.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
All right. I know you don't want to hear that, though. I saw the look in your eye.
Yeah.
I saw it.
But that's where I am. Got to start where you are. Now, what does Jock say? Now.
Yeah. Now. I mean, that's what you want.
Now.
You got to do some shit to do it. You can't. That's like trying to get your college degree without ever going to college.
Right.
You're going to have to eventually go to class, bro.
At some day, some point. That's part of the deal.
And it will help me because, like I said, I don't have any direction. I mean, I'm kind of flying by the seat. I mean, I know I want to be limitless, but what am I shooting for? What am I trying? It's more specific.
Right.
What's my depth and my weight? What's my specifics?
Yeah, I agree.
And that would definitely help me.
Good. Well, all right. Jump on the broad highway. Here we go.
All right, brother.
Okay, I'm back to page 55 again.
Ha!
I didn't like it there. Started out loving it, and then I really thought, oh, this is just a lie. It's in sheep's clothing here.
That's right.
But okay, I'm back. I'm back.
Good. Become the berserker.
That's it. That's it. Well, anyway, that's the kind of stuff I need because I've been thinking about it. One of my goals right now is one of my focuses is the other thing we've been talking about, and this only takes a second, but it was staying the newcomer, being the new guy, staying the new guy. And I think my mentality in a lot of ways recently has been I'm the old guy, old timer. I've been here around, a long time or whatever for I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of been in my head somewhere. The motivation is the goals that we're talking about too, but also one of my goals is it's going to take some energy to stay the new guy.
Right.
Have that energy to deliver the message. I bit my tongue. The energy to deliver the message so the new guy is attracted. It's a program of attraction. It's not
Absolutely.
just sitting telling, old war stories. It's, hey, here's a solution. This can happen for you.
Yeah.
This is how we do it. It's not voodoo. We
No,
have a plan.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to have the energy.
Right. Well, I mean, if you think about it, we hear the regurgitation of stories and how they put these principles into practice 20 years ago,
Right.
10 years ago, 12 years ago, right?
Yep.
But you don't hear a lot of people still putting these principles into practice on what they did this weekend, on the adventure or the trials and tribulations of this world, what they did today. You don't hear that shit a lot.
No.
So why would there ever be any attraction? What do I give a shit if somebody had the solution 20 years ago?
Right.
That's not going to help me.
No.
Because my problems are right here, right now.
Right.
So what are you doing?
And as the Eldritch says, that doesn't answer your question.
Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody giving it to me doesn't answer my question.
Nope.
Yeah. The only way I'm going to find out if I'm enough is I get my ass out there and do it.
Absolutely.
That's it. So.
Yeah, it's all about those experiences and ventures. They got to be fresh, bro. They got to be fresh. What are you doing now? Where are you at? How you doing this? That's where the attraction comes.
Oh, yeah. New psychic changes. It's got to keep happening.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the biggest disservices I've ever heard in meetings is when people tell me how long they've been sober.
Yeah.
I've been sober for 30 years. I've been sober for 15 years.
Right.
What the fuck are you talking? I don't give a shit. Now you just told me there's something I can't obtain. That's what you just told me.
Right.
Because how the hell am I going to stay 30 years sober? I can't get sober today.
Right. I can't do it myself today. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Good point.
Or when you hear people talk about relapsing all the time. Yeah, it's okay if you relapse. I relapse. It's okay. What?
Yeah.
It's not okay to relapse.
Oh, yeah. I've heard them say that's part of it. It's not part of it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm proof of that.
Right.
You don't have to relapse.
You don't have to.
No.
I mean, it happens to some of us, but that's not part of the program. That's walking away from the program. That's the voice of experience telling you right there.
Yes, sir.
Well, good stuff. That's kind of what I had on my mind today during my commute with all my buddies.
Out there on the narrow highway.
Oh, yeah. They picked a great time to have construction and block off 2 lanes on 19th in the Champions area.
Just want you to have more time.
At 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Exactly.
It's all opportunity, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. What am I supposed to be learning here?
Yeah.
Okay, meditate. All right, here we go.
There you go. I don't know. I think there's something to it, man. I think when I'm out there in traffic and instead of sitting there getting all pissed off and warped out of my mind about people cutting off and how much time it's going to take, I look around and I see some beauty.
Yeah.
I see something. I'm like, now there it is. There,
Right.
that's why I slowed down. I needed to see that.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to say online what I'm seeing because
Right.
people won't believe me.
Well, we have to acknowledge God's excellent work.
There you go.
There you go. His
That's
creation.
right.
That's
So
all it
my
is.
suggestion is slow down, look around, look for those opportunities, and when you see that one thing, you
Right.
go, "That's what Tommy's talking about."
There it is. Plain as day. And you'll know it.
You will know it.
Well,
It,
good
it works
stuff.
if you work it, brother. It works if you
It
work it.
There you go. Well, good stuff. Well, I think that's a good place to cut it off here.
Yeah,
Get
absolutely.
back
That's a
and get
good
some
one. I
dinner.
really like it.
Yeah.
And I am enjoying the field guide from Jocko Willink. It's really kicking my ass right now.
Well, it's the change. I believe it's part of the change I needed.
Yeah. I
So,
hear you.
yeah.
Keep in mind, though, it's nothing new. I mean, we're not reading anything that
Oh,
we don't
yeah.
already know.
I know. It's funny because we're reading it going, okay, third step. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Right here, right now. Okay.
Uh
But
huh.
it's good to hear his, because he does have some real lifetime experiences with it. So it's good to hear his depth and weight through his experiences.
And he's still doing it
Still
today.
doing it. Yeah.
So it works.
It works. There you go.
All right,
Well,
brother.
good stuff. All right, man. Y'all get
That's
out and
all I
get some
got.
sun. All right.
Yeah. Be the example.
There you go. Peace out. Y'all get out and get
Peace
some
out.
sun.
All right. Bye.